Welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Early Wine, and how's your goose on the porch coming?
Oh, my
how's
goose.
Gladys?
She's doing good. She's great. I think I showed the last outfit. Was the Walmart one? Did I show that one here?
Yeah, I haven't changed.
Yeah, I haven't changed her outfit in a few weeks. So
well, a reason why I'm asking about Gladys is because a couple years, the last few years, we go like when we have the kids, and we've been going out to Bullard's and buying little concrete statues, and we've been painting them, and so this year Jack's like, "Y'all, we need to do a turkey." I'm like, we want to do a turkey. Okay, we did a turkey. And Jim said, no, let's do a goose like Beth Cooper has on her front porch.
Have you found a concrete one? Because they're hard to find.
I don't know. I don't know.
Like, they've become so popular again that they're like, people are having a really hard time tracking them down.
I don't know. Bullard's
didn't have one the last time I checked, but that's been a couple months.
Yeah. No, I'm probably going to swing by there later on today after I run some errands and stuff. But yeah, so I'm like, a goose, huh? Yeah, Jim thinks we need a Gladys on our front porch too. So I'm like, okay,
you should.
Jack was like a turkey, and of course Joanna's like a pink one. Everything is pink for her.
Yeah,
so that's
the
gonna
kids want to paint them, but you can buy a goose like on Amazon. That's not concrete.
Yeah, but can we paint that though? Probably not.
Probably not.
No, they want to paint it. They want to paint this goose.
Okay.
They want to paint it, and God knows what color it'll be. But yeah, because we did our Bigfoot. We've done, the very first thing we did was a turtle. And then we did a frog.
I think you ought to get that big dinosaur that's out there. Like a brontosaurus.
You know how expensive they are?
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, they're way, I can't afford that. They're way expensive. Because Bigfoot's the biggest one I've gotten. Bigfoot was like a few $100s.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
I love my Bigfoot. Yeah, but yeah, they're so cool.
Yeah, they are
just
cool.
So heavy, but yeah, dinosaur.
That'd be neat. I have a spot in the front of it's like right smack dab in the front of my house that I want to pull out a rose bush that I don't really like the placement of there, and I thought that'd be kind of cool to put because the drainage right there isn't great.
Yeah.
Like put something concrete there, and then you don't have a plant. But also, like, I don't know that I really want a great big dinosaur right at the front of my house.
What would you put? They have.
I don't know.
I love them. We've got them everywhere. We paint them bright. I love them. Of course, I'm a big fan of Bigfoot. So,
yeah.
What would you put out there? There's so many cute things.
And when you paint those concrete things, like you seal them first, you put some sealant on that, and then you don't. Because I read a whole article about like when you're doing that, like you should there's all these steps to it.
You probably should.
You just go for it.
Just go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's usually the kids are there like, let's go, But they're out in the elements all the time, and none of them have chipped.
So what kind of paint do you buy?
Just that little.
Those are little acrylic paints?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, because like the frog and the turtle are out in the elements and get sun and time. They haven't even faded. Bigfoot has got some chips on top of his head, and it was like more expensive paint. It was a different type of paint we used.
Well, there you have it, folks.
For Bigfoot, and he's already, because Jack was like, yeah, Bigfoot's peeling on top of his head where his fur's at. But the other two, that just cheap little acrylic paint out there.
Call that male pattern baldness.
That's right. Bigfoot's going bald. Yeah, we love it. It's just fun.
Yeah.
And it's something we do. But I'll tell you what, it's hard for I'm OCD. And I like everything to be perfect and its spot. And man, the first time they were doing it, I was like, So then I let them do a little bit, and then I'd fix it. Because Joanne's like, I'm going to mix all the colors together. When you mix them all together,
you got gray.
You got gray.
Well, that's sweet, though. That's fun projects for you. And it'll be fun, like, in 10 years to look back at them. And
oh, yeah, they love it. Yeah, they absolutely love it. And so it's just something we do. And they're already ready to go to Bullard's next week. So if it's nice Monday, we'll probably be. I got a couple spots. There's a couple spots in my yard that I've got, my stuff is going like gangbusters this year. My stuff is beautiful, but I've got like 2 places where I can't get anything to grow. So there's going to be concrete somethings there.
Yeah, put something there.
There's probably going to be a turkey there, and then we'll have to put I have to come up with I'll name mine Ethel.
Yeah, there you go, Gladys and Ethel.
Gladys and Ethel. But yeah, it's just like, I can't get anything to grow in these one spots.
Yeah.
But everything else is your stuff coming up?
Yes, yeah, and my azaleas are, at one point, my azaleas used to be the prettiest azaleas in Flora. Not gonna lie, they were gorgeous, and they're hot pink, and there's 3 of them, and they were all identical, and they just like would. The 2 weeks they were on, it was great, but the last couple of years haven't been that. Like they're over 20 years old now, and they're just, I don't know, they're just, to me, they're not as pretty. But this whole, and I didn't cover them because it was like a freeze the other night, so I'm not sure they're even gonna bloom at all this year.
You know, I planted an azalea bush, excuse me, one time. And my gosh, that year it was spectacular. Never did another thing the rest of my life. I pulled him out a year or so ago, and that was like 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
He's gone. But that very first year, that's one of those spots I can't get anything to grow in.
Yeah.
But it's also in the same area with all my other stuff that's going like gangbusters, but it's just like beautiful, 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 dead.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the same area.
Yeah. I don't know. I need to do some serious work outside and decide what I'm pulling up this year. I think that rose bush is going to go.
Yeah, I love my rose bushes.
I do too. I want to replant. I don't know if it'll work, but I'd like to pull this one out and put it somewhere else. It's just too close to the sidewalk.
My rose bushes are amazing. Once again, except for one, and I cannot get it to. I am going to trim him back, though. I'm thinking maybe I just need to cut him off. But the other ones are huge. They're taller than me. Those knockout roses, they get huge, and mine are beautiful. And my rose bushes are also my exchange students have given me in the past.
Yeah, that's nice.
So, so they're kind of important to me. My exchange students, they always give you something when you're leaving. And so, so I have them. And every time I see, like that one pink one is one that Lucia from Columbia gave me. And then the white one that's in the front is one that Marianne from Germany gave me. And then there's the other one is one that Sophia gave me. So,
that's nice.
Yeah, but
you've had so many exchange students.
I think we've done 8. I think I've had 8. And actually, Carolina just left. She came and visited, and she just left. And Sarah from Italy is coming back in July and staying a couple weeks.
Oh, really?
She's coming back. They've all come back to every one of them. I've seen them all again several times. Well, not several, but at least once or twice. And except for the 2 Colombians, the Colombians haven't. They were cousins, Lucia and Sophia, but they haven't come back yet.
Well, maybe one day they will.
They're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful girls. Those 2 Colombian girls are. Boy, they're beautiful. They're on Facebook. I think they're both models.
That's how the Panamanian girls are. The exchange student I had in high school was from Panama. I still see her, talk to her on Facebook, but I would love for her to come back. She's beautiful too.
Yeah.
Even though she's almost 50, she's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, that's how these 2 are. I follow them on Facebook, and they're modeling, and they're just absolutely long, perfect hair, tall, thin, dark. Yeah, they're beautiful. They're beautiful girls. But but I think they both model. I get stuff from them. So
yeah, cool,
pretty fun. Yeah. Anyway, so what else is going on? We're gonna hit the farmers market today.
We are. We're ready to buy some plants. And what else is going on? Let's see. I'm going to Paducah this week.
Oh, what's going on Paducah?
It is Quilt Week at Paducah. So for those of you that are not quilters, Quilt Week in Paducah is huge. It's the American Quilter Society's biggest show of the year. It's in Paducah, Kentucky every year. There's approximately 30,000 people that descend on Paducah at this time. It's a whole week. It's like 4 or 5 days. And the city of Paducah, like their whole city's economy really depends on the show.
Really?
I mean, because they have a multitude of hotels, restaurants, all this, and that the amount of business that they get for just this 1 week is a huge chunk of what their economy is for the whole year. It plays a really big role. So whenever COVID came and shut down the show, it didn't just hurt the American Quilter Society,
that town.
It hurt the city big time. And honestly, and I go to the show every year, and the show took a hit, and it's slowly coming back. But like last year, the year before, the show was still going on, but it wasn't as big. And when you guys hear a quilt show, you are probably thinking of just a big room full of quilts that are hanging up. It is so much more than that. It is mainly vendors. The quilting industry is like a $30 or $40 billion industry. It's huge. And there's all these vendors that come and represent these different fabric companies and stuff. And this is the time to see new projects, buy supplies, get inspiration, buy different, try out different sewing machines, different quilting machines. All these things are there. So
is there like a
there
quilting
are
hub? I mean, why Paducah? How did they get? Because
that's just always been where the American Quilter Society is based out of. But they do have other shows around the nation throughout the year. But the Paducah show is the biggest. And people come from all over the world. So like one year we sat there and there's like all these picnic tables outside in this like food truck, food court kind of thing. And we sat there and the people across from us were from Bulgaria. They gave us fabric. They were excited to make new American friends. There's tons of people from Japan that come. Japan is full of quilters. Australia, the UK, Korea. I mean, there are just people all over
everywhere.
the world that come there. And like there's one group of 15 European quilters that are coming over for that group. And I happen to know because I've been talking to their tour leader who, after they leave Paducah, they're going to my company in Missouri, stopping by there. But anyway, it's just it's a big, big deal. And I know for those of you that don't know anything about quilting, just trust me when I say it is a big deal. It is much, much more than quilts hanging in a room. To get into this show, you have to be juried in. So like I can't just like say, here's this quilt I made. I want to show it in this quilt show. No, to submit it, it has to pass a jury of people to see if it is even good enough. And the quilts that, if you've never been to this and you're just looking for something fun to do, you really should go. Google it. It's coming up. It'll be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And
so you're leaving tomorrow?
I'm only going for one day this year.
Okay.
Some days I spend several days down there and take classes and different things. This year I don't have time for that. I'm just going for one day. But if you're not into quilting, you should go because it is seriously like an art show. These quilts don't look like this one. They don't look like any of the ones I've made. They look like paintings. It's hard to believe that they're even made with fabric. It looks like they look like paintings. They're incredible. Just incredible works of art. And they come from all over the world. To be submitted to that. But so that is my big news. That's what I'm doing. I think I'm going to go on Friday.
I haven't been to Paducah. There used to be a huge hair show
every
year in Paducah there at that executive inn right there on the river. And so
it's torn down. There's a different one there now.
It's been 25 years since I've even been to Paducah. Yeah.
It's still gorgeous. You and I should go, just not to the quilt show, but just go to Paducah because Paducah people
it's in river town, right?
It's on the Ohio River. The Ohio River is gorgeous. It takes me about 2 hours and 10 minutes to drive there from Flora. So it is not that far. A lot of you drive that far to go to St. Louis or Fairview Heights or Champaign or wherever. Try Paducah. They have shopping, but if you go into like their downtown area, it's on the Ohio River. You can park your car somewhere and just walk this beautiful downtown. Paducah is full of awesome restaurants and not like big box restaurants, like ones that are like mom and pop.
What about like antique stores? 'Cause I'm on the look.
Stores,
I'm looking for a specific antique.
Galore. Like part of my day is usually just spent antiquing and while I'm down there.
Okay.
And I mean, awesome antique stores. But I will say the price of quilts are really high that week. If you're wanting to buy an antique quilt like that one, that's probably not the week or the place to do it because unless you're selling one, if you got one to sell, that's the time to do it. But
true.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, well, you would love the antiques there. We should go.
I would. I'm going to have him take a commercial break and then we're going to come back.
Oh, I talk too much.
Then we'll do our ad. I knew as soon as she started talking quilts. So we'll take a commercial break and come back with our ad. And I've got 2 or 3 different little stories I want to talk about today. So we'll be right back.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I'm Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and Beth talked about quilting, so we were a little bit behind, but that's okay.
That's okay.
So I found another ad, and it's called White House Coffee. None better at any price. I have never heard of White House coffee.
Me either, but it has an actual picture of the White House on the front. It has the picture
of the White House. And it not only had coffee, but it had tea.
Nice.
Orange Pico tea, Dwinell Wright Company, Boston/Chicago. So I've never heard of the Dwinell and Wright Company, but it was in Boston, Chicago. But I didn't realize there was a White House tea.
I didn't either.
White House coffee, none better at any price. The up-to-date coffee package keeps all goodness in, all badness out.
Oh, good.
How funny is that? And delivers to you the same splendid quality that has made White House coffee famous. 1, 3, and 5 pound packages only, never in bulk.
Okay.
This was the Dwinell White Company, Principal Coffee Roasters in Boston and Chicago. White House coffee, and like I said, it's got you can see right there, tea and coffee. That's kind of cool.
And then the little hand, this like thing from...
isn't that kind? I mean,
there's no arm
because he's not like pointing.
Yeah, he's just like
right there. Yeah, White House tea and coffee.
Funny.
Wonder if we could find those tins.
I don't know.
Because it looks like they're tins.
I bet they're collector's items.
Yeah. Huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you got for us today?
You know what? I was going through. I've got kind of like other episodes we do. Sometimes we're in the process of going in. It's spring's coming. Beth and I are now not crazy busy like we were. So now we will be visiting. There's a couple houses I want to visit.
Mm-hmm.
We got some. We're going to be doing some cemetery
hopping,
and we've got some. We're going to do an episode on a hotel in Flora. But so till we get back into the groove of going out and it's nice out and I'm not freezing or getting rained on.
Exactly.
So at this point, we are doing little stories that we've been finding, which I find absolutely fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
So they're so fun. Did you know that we have an area in town called Happy Hollow?
No.
Me neither. So I was
Happy Hollow. Let me try to guess where that would be.
Okay, Happy Hollow. Happy Hollow.
Like a hollow, like a low point. I don't know. Tell me.
I'm going to tell you. Rita writes, when looking through newspapers of today, we notice items from various communities in Clay County, such as Bethel, Songer, Bible Grove, and the like.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, these areas of news were quite numerous, with items relating to the latest from neighborhoods such as Oak Grove, Bethlehem, Kenner, Beatty, McCabe, Oskaloosa.
Yeah, I can remember seeing all those different sections of the paper.
So we remember every one of those are familiar.
But you know what? I think I did see a really old paper when I was at the Genealogical Society that had a Happy Hollow area.
Yep.
That was like a cutout of Happy Hollow news. And I wonder, where is that?
Right.
Is it the Lost 40s?
That's what.
That area?
You're ding, ding, ding. Trago Lake. Out by Trago Lake.
Okay.
Happy Hollow. Like I said, it just, I don't know. Because the first one when I read Happy Hollow, what's that? La, 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 la. What's that commercial from? La, 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 la. Did it say like something like Happy Hollow or something like that? Of course, then Sleepy Hollow. I went dark. And I'm like, oh man, maybe we had a Sleepy Hollow, but now it's Happy Hollow.
Oh gosh, I saw a reel the other day that was all about visiting the Boston, like the Headless Horseman Sleepy Hollow town. Where is that? Sleepy Hollow, Massachusetts.
I think it is, and that's right.
I know.
That's on my bucket list.
Yeah,
I got Massachusetts I love Massachusetts. I've been there once. Went to Boston, Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard. What's that one? Cape Cod. Oh, gosh, that's a better.
Yeah.
Massachusetts is probably one of my favorite states. It's fantastic. And I've got to get to the witches and I got to get to the Headless Horseman. Okay.
Okay, keep going.
Here we go again. Happy Hollow was an area near the Trago Lake, northwest of Flora, and some of the family names around there were Platt, Reddish, Thomas, Bowen, Lewis, and Green. The following relates to some of the activity of Happy Hollow almost 75 years ago.
Wow.
Now
it's probably been at 95. She probably wrote that 20 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because this was, this is Clay County Republican, page 8 out of 2018.
Okay.
So, but yeah. So add another 5 to 8 years onto that. She said, "I have never heard of an egg roast, but we read where Mr. and Mrs. Edward Andrews were hosting such a gathering. Present were Mr. and Mrs. A.W. Tolliver, Mr. and Mrs. Ed Hammer, and daughter Frances, Genevieve, and Helen Jacobs, Lucille Aline, and Howard Bowen, Pauline and Delta Platt, Joseph Handy, Lloyd Tolliver, Helen and Hazel Blackwell, and Velma and Dorothea McDonald." So we have an
It's
egg
an
roast,
egg roast?
and all these people show up. An egg roast. She doesn't go into detail
Wonder
what
what
that would
they-
be.
Wonder what they did there.
I don't know. Did you know that there was actually a school there called Fisher School?
No.
I have not come across Fisher School either.
Egg
fish-
roast.
Egg roast. Hey, Ty, Google what's
Yeah, that's
an
what I
egg
was
roast.
going to do. What is an egg roast?
What is an egg roast? Yeah, I don't know. What would that be? They didn't have a picnic. But anyway, Fisher School was the school in the area where most of the children attended. It stood near the curve on the south side west of Trago Lake. Huh. So I didn't even know they had their own school. Everybody had their own little hospital
Yeah,
praise school.
I'm just getting recipes for egg roast.
That,
Let's see if
well, what would
there's-
even a recipe for an egg roast
What
be?
was the date? Did it say the date that she did that?
Well, it would have been December 1918. So subtract 75 from 18.
Okay.
Somebody do
So
math.
it was December, though.
December 12th, 2018.
Oh, but I meant the period that they actually did it. Like the egg roast. Was it like Easter or?
I don't know. But she's talking about the activities that happened 75 years ago.
Okay.
So it would have been old school.
Okay.
The young folks of Happy Hollow gathered at the Bowen house where Miss Lucille Bowen held a pie and pound party. What's a pound party?
Okay, let me read you what this egg roast
Okay, I want to
definition
know
is.
what's this egg roast that they were having in Happy
Egg
Hollow?
roasting, particularly in ash or hot embers, has a history rooted in early human survival strategies and cooking techniques. It's a method that predates sophisticated cooking equipment and reflects a resourceful approach to utilizing available resources. It's one of the earliest human cooking practices. I guess they just hide the eggs in the embers of the fire.
Huh. I'd never heard of that before.
Like while they're in the shell, and then it's basically like then you have almost like a hard boiled egg.
But they do it in the embers of the fire?
Uh-huh.
How interesting.
Yep.
Huh.
Okay.
Never heard of that.
So that's that. What was the next question?
Well, they had a pie and pound party.
Okay.
Would that be a pound cake party? Pie and pound party. And actually, while you're Googling this, Rena writes, now this was another party along with the egg roast, which I had never heard of. Maybe a pie party, but don't know what the pound was.
Well, I do.
What?
And I do know this because I read it on Google.
Oh,
I didn't know it prior to 20 seconds ago. A pie and pound party refers to a social gathering centered around enjoying pies and possibly other baked goods like pound cakes. You were right.
I like a good pound cake.
It could be a themed party where guests bring their own pies and participate in pie making activities, or a casual event where pies are simply served as the main course. I'd be fine with that. I love pie.
Oh, yeah. I like pie and pound cake. I love a good pound cake. Oh, my gosh. Marilyn Helmus makes a pound cake out of this world. It's crazy. Huh? Interesting.
Yeah. I love pie. Okay.
In another Happy Hollow item, Mrs. Helen and Hazel Smith had a pie and pound party. It must have been the thing to do then. Those attending were Harold Thomas, Delbert Hart, Frank Singles, Mildred Holmes, Helen McGrew, Helen and Hazel Blackwell, and Dale McGrew. A birthday was held for Elmer Fleeman with the following attending. I love the fact back in the day how they put how everybody attended. You know, but I almost remember.
Almost, but not quite.
I do remember back when I was younger, whenever we had like my wedding shower, attendees were still, that was like in 88.
You listed who?
And everybody did. Now that I remember, but we don't do that anymore, do we?
No, well, everyone invites like 300 people.
That's right.
You would be reading like a very long list of who attended.
Yeah. So anyway, the birthday party for Elmer Freeman, like goodness, Delbert Hart, Ed Andrews, Howard, Donald, Vesta. I like the name Vesta, by the way.
I do too.
Mary, Lucille, and Alan Bowen, Pauline and Delta. Ooh, Delta.
I came across Delta the other day, and I was like, that's going in my list.
Delta Dawn. Delta Platt, Melvin and Harold Thomas, Frank Craig, and Charlie Young. In a 1929 newspaper item, we read where Mr. and Mrs. Fidelis Reddish, Pauline Platt, and Melvin Thomas called on Mr. and Mrs. Will Bowen. In November of that year, Mary Bowen and Fidelis Reddish were married. So went some of the activities in Happy Hollow, the friendly little neighborhood northwest of Flora. Had no clue Happy Hollow existed.
Yeah,
how cool is that?
Cool. And it's cool that people would invite whenever they had to get together, it was like the other people from that area, neighbors. I mean, they were just right out there by Traeger Lake, but did they invite people from in-town Flora or people from Xenia?
It was their
or
group
Clay
of
City?
people.
No, it was like you stuck to your location.
When I was a little girl growing up, South Ender picnics every summer, and it was the entire south end of town would show up. They were huge too.
Yeah,
and
I
we would
remember
go to Charlie Brown
seeing
Park.
those in the paper.
Yeah, north end of town probably never did do that.
Not to my knowledge. I don't know.
We always had South Ender picnics. It was awesome. So cool. Yeah. But anyway, so that was a fun little, I never came across that before. We are going to take a
commercial break.
And then I came across this interesting article that Rena wrote about Clay City's Main Street in 1907.
Okay, great. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank.
We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online bank, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be.
Clay County State Bank.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County, Farmers Mutual Insurance.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I'm Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and we just visited Happy Hollow out by Trago Lake that Beth and I neither one knew existed.
Nope.
And then I came across another little article that Rena had written, and it's visiting Clay City, 1907, 1908, which I have family roots in Clay City, and unfortunately, Clay City's going to eventually end up looking like Sailor Springs, my favorite place on earth. But yeah, because they're losing some of those old buildings, and some of them are like I'm looking at this, like looking from the north side of Clay City, and that building right there is already gone, and it's just so sad to me. I just hate seeing them go, but if people don't take care of them, they're going to fall. This is Piecing Together the Past by Rena Lynch Thomas. In my constant reading and ever pursuing through written material, I ran across a letter which had been written in 1925 by one Harry Noddle, formerly of Clay City. The main subject of his writing was his remembrances of Clay City at the close of the 1800s.
Wow.
So that's kind of fun. He wrote that much had changed in the 40 years which had passed, which is very interesting because much has changed in 40 years in 1925.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Harry Noddle would probably be shocked
To see what
how
it is
much
today.
change
Yeah.
has come now.
Oh, my.
Automobiles, airplanes, and even radios were unheard of then. On Clay City Main Street, a big white watch, lettered A.R. Kaiser, hung at the jewelry store, and a horseshoe was displayed over the shops of V.M. Chafin and August Hoball, the local blacksmiths. You know what? I can't even fathom what driving around or looking what a real blacksmith's, would even be like. That's something that we've never, ever seen in our life. I mean, we've been to shoe stores and that type of thing, but I've never seen a blacksmith store. Have you?
Well,
Ever like...
I mean, so whenever Smith Mill was going on, Bob Smith had a little blacksmith area out there where there was like a smith, they were
I think he was
smithing.
the last of a dying breed, wasn't he?
And
Because
so
he was
you could-
original. He still did things right.
So you could walk out there and kind of see, how a blacksmith shop would have looked and what they were working on and stuff. And then the rest of it, I just know from TV, what do you see on TV of old Westerns and stuff where they had a blacksmith.
Yeah. George Miller Sr. sold lumber while Harry T. Barr drew plans and built houses for people.
Nice.
He recalled that James B. Smith and Charlie Feldweg each managed a hardware store in the town. There were 5 doctors in the Clay City area, as he remembered. Doctors F.R. Pittner, Quartermus, have you ever heard that last name?
Nope.
Billings, Boyles, and Lawndale. Those are names from Clay City I've never heard of.
I kind of think maybe they didn't stick around.
I don't think they did. He said many doctors were required then, as there were many cases of chills and ague, malaria-type fever, on the Wabash in those days, which makes sense. Early druggists were Raleigh Harris and John W. Coulter, who were kept very busy dispensing their medicines. They were succeeded by the Daugherty brothers. Many times in old papers, a well-known, often elderly person was referred to as simply uncle, aunt, or grandma, without using their first name. My granny was that woman. Everybody knew my grandmother, whose name was Doris Franklin. She was Granny Franklin. When I would meet older people, they'd be like, "Stacey, how's Granny doing?" Nobody ever knew.
Everybody never
Granny
called her by
Franklin.
her real name. Yeah.
It was just assumed that everyone would know who they were speaking about, not taking thought to the possibility of someone in the future reading it. She got a point there. Yeah. And not knowing for whom they were speaking of. Well, this is how he referred to the proprietor and manager of the local hotel known as Central House. She was merely listed as Grandma Harris. Now, we didn't do Central House, did we? Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
We did. Remember there was that one house there?
Yeah, that was like a boarding house.
A boarding house?
I don't remember the name of it.
I don't either, but we need to write down Central House here.
Okay.
I'm going to write it down now because
Okay.
it will have it in Clay City, because I've never heard of that either. And they called her Grandma Harris, right?
Yep.
That might be. There are some Harrises there. I'll have to reach out to some of them. Yep, future show.
Okay.
The first newspaper printed, according to Mr. Noddle, was done by Ed Lewis. I don't think it's Ed Lewis Trucking.
It wasn't, I'm sure.
It was set by hand on an 8x10 card press. Harry Bothwell was postmaster, and James Manker were telegraph operator and agent for the Ohio and Missouri Railroad Station. Ab Rogers shaved the men and clipped their hair in his barbershop. Martin L. Armstrong and Morris Brissenden bought and sold cattle to a large degree, while Henry and Walter Brissenden managed the tress hoop shop, and shipped their hoops to the cities where they were always in great demand.
Hoops.
Tress hoops. T-R-E-S-H-O-O-P. Tress hoops.
Let me see it. It may not be what I thought it was after you spelled it.
What is that?
I'm going to Google it.
Google.
My first instinct was that they were the hoops that you put under your gowns.
Well, see, I was thinking that too, but tress, yeah. Because that would be fun. Tress hoops. Yeah. And it was Walter Brissenden managed the tress hoop shop. See, it's either tress hoop or tress hoop. And shipped their hoops to the cities where they were always in great demand. Sylvester Foster was the town genius. Do you think 100 years from now people are going to be saying Stacey Early Wine was Flora's town genius?
I hope they do.
No, I hope when they do a story on me and I'm sitting on my couch and I just won the lottery and I'm sitting on a couch in my big Victorian house in Sailor Springs. As he could paint any sign or whatever was needed. He was also very adept at wood carving and cabinet making. See, we're getting all sorts of neat names from this little article. I'm going to have to keep this one on me.
I think that could be a misspelling of something.
What do you think it is?
Because I'm not finding anything about that word.
In the 1880s was also the firm of Noddle and Schofield, which carried gents' furnishing goods as well as notions and groceries. And what are notions? I'm learning so much stuff today.
Notions are sewing notions, like sewing. Like one of the companies that my main company works for is Nancy's Notions. That's where you can find the articles that I write. It's all about sewing the accessories.
Well, you need to look up Noddle and Schofield, which carry gents' furnishing goods as well as notions and groceries.
Okay.
Reading what Harry Noddle wrote about all the changes which had taken place by 1925, I find myself wondering what a person of the turn of the century like Harry would think of if he could see his life as it is today. With the computers, spaceships, jet planes, superhighways, and all the things which make up our fast-paced world today, I'm certain he would be completely overwhelmed as I am. Yeah, but that's Sylvester Foster, the town genius.
Okay, I'm still not finding anything about those hoops, so I give up on that one.
Well, I wonder what that is.
That can be a challenge to our readers to research tress hoops and come back.
Sylvester.
Not really readers, but watchers. I don't know. What do we call them?
I don't know what they call him. He was a painter and the town genius.
Okay.
And town genius. Huh. We're just learning all sorts of deep stuff. But yeah, how fun is that? And then she writes, until next time, Rena Lentz. But yeah, you look back at these old pictures. And you guys, whenever you go to the, when you go to the hospital, most of those places have lots of old pictures on the walls. I love, I think our hospital does.
Yeah, and they do. And we did an episode on that. You can go back through on YouTube into our old episodes. There's one on Clay County Hospital, and in it we have all of the photos that hang in the hallway at the current Clay County Hospital.
Pretty cool.
I wish whoever had done that would have made a plaque for each of those photos
so we know what they are,
what and who is in it, because Stacey and I can identify them. There's Eileen Inlow who helped me identify things in the pictures and what room it was. she's still alive. Now is the time, Clay County Hospital, for you to get those plaques made, because all of that's eventually going to be lost. Another 20, 30, 50 years from now, people are going to look at those photos, but they're not going to know what it is or why you're showing it.
That may be, we need to probably put Amy on that. We need to talk to Amy about getting that
because
done.
it really should be labeled. I mean, there's great photos of like the old lab, like this is, she was doing lab work, but it's so far away from what the current lab looks like that you wouldn't even know that was a lab, but it needs somebody to explain that, hey, this is the history of the lab.
Agreed.
And other photos like of the original building, like this was our hospital in blah, 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 1858 or whatever, I don't think it was that old, but.
Yeah.
Label those. Everything.
We're going to take a commercial break and we'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Peggle's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Peggle Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
Give me order lumber. Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, give me all your guns too.
John Lucas.
What?
You better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I'm Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and one of my favorite people in the world was Bill Oliver. I think he just had the greatest artistic mind. And I said a long time ago, I have a lot of these hometown journals. Just randomly, I'm going to pull one of his articles out. And I thought this one might be a fun one to do because we are getting ready to talk about graduations and things. And he wrote an article about be happy in your work.
Okay.
I'm very happy in my work. I've been a hairdresser for 39 years. I love it. I look forward to going. I love doing this job. I love the theater things. It's like so important for kids to not chase money and chase what they're going to love to do, because you two young people in there, you're going to be doing it for the rest of your life. Let's see what he says. It says, be happy in your work. And he was. I mean, Bill was no millionaire by no means, but he did everything he did, he loved. Succeeded and didn't. In some things. One of my goals in life has been to avoid getting rich. It is a goal that I have achieved at much success. Perhaps it is because I never pondered the future. Never did. On the day after my high school graduation, I awoke and thought to myself, okay, Bill, now what? I had made no plans for college because I had given no thought to the future. I was 18 years old, and if someone had asked me what I was going to be, I would have probably answered, 19. For the next 6 months, I set the alarm clock to wake me in time to look in the daily trials of Dr. Hardy, his nurse, Jessie, and the rest of the staff at General Hospital. Then one day, my dad suggested that I should perhaps look for a job. You mean going to work somewhere sort of like what you do every day? I asked. He smiled that kind of smile that showed his teeth. I'd better start looking, I thought. But what could I do? Dad was a professional plumber and a very good one. Me? I had to tape instructions to the toilet on how to flush it. I knew I wouldn't be able to plumb. I thought about an uncle I had who tried to get into a business. Unfortunately, he tried to get in with a crowbar and is still doing time.
Typical Bill writing. That is not true.
Bewildered, I finally went out on my very first job interview. I was told that I could earn $80 a week In 6 months, I would make $100 a week. I smiled with joy and told them I would begin in 6 months. Needless to say, he didn't get the job. Now, as I inch closer to the half-century mark, I look back and I realize that I have been the luckiest person I know when it comes to employment. I have earned a living doing the very same thing I played at doing as a kid. For example, I spent hours as a youngster pretending to own my own movie theater. I would load reels of silent 8mm film onto our old Brownie projector and pretend I was Raleigh Parks up in the booth at the town theater, where I practically grew up as a child. I would even go as far as twisting my arm backwards. Those who remember Raleigh or Coon Creek will know what I'm talking about. I would also cut the movie ads out of the newspapers, lick the back, and stick them on the door sills. They were my movie posters. I was a weird child, but those hours at play would eventually lead me to many happy years working in the motion picture business, eventually owning my own theater. I also spent hours sitting on the floor with my 45 RPM record player, announcing each record and reading advertisements out of the newspaper, pretending to be a radio DJ. That playtime led to a very happy 25-year career in broadcasting, while still having time to pursue my interest in movies. During one summer, my sister and I even distributed a little newspaper, which we would make with carbon paper and include the latest news about members of the neighborhood. Hopefully, none of those are still in existence. I understand that after you reach the age of 7, you can be sued for libel. I never dreamed that I would one day be part owner of an actual newspaper. As I mentioned, I have always been very lucky to have made a living doing the same things I enjoyed playing as a youngster. My education has come from being surrounded by the best people in each occupation. It's sad to think that much of the population entering today's workforce is more concerned about benefits, retirement plans, and vacation time than about their own daily fulfillment in the actual work they do. Life is far too short. Follow the advice of Colonel Bogey. Be happy in your work. If you're not, do whatever it takes to change it. Your life will improve, and so will your outlook.
I love that.
That's one of the best articles. Mm-hmm. And like I said, he's right, because how many people do you know? And Bill Oliver, we need to do Bill Oliver on a cemetery tour.
Mm-hmm.
He's got, and that would be hysterical. Mm-hmm. You could have somebody that's funny do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you could have Matt Lovett do it.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Oliver should be done on this. I'm not sure where Bill's buried. Is he buried in Xenia?
I don't remember.
But he could be done at the depot. But anyway, he's absolutely right. You get down to that point, in your life. If you don't love what you do, you're going to work hard the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not going to be a fun time. Because like I said, I'm going on 39 years, and I started working when I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. No, that's not right. Yeah, how old am I?
You are...
I'm 57.
97.
Right, 50, yeah. But I guess I started working in the shop when I was 18 or 19.
Anyway,
I don't know.
You've been doing it a long
time. And I still look forward to going. You're doing now something that you love, but you loved working at the Hometown Journal.
I loved working at the Hometown Journal, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep, and I loved writing for the home. I've always loved to write, so when I went back I stayed home for 17 years and homeschooled the kids, and when I was ready to go back to work, I thought I'd like to do something with writing, but I'd also like to do something with quilting. There's a fantastic website out there called Indeed.com for those of you that are older and out of the workforce. You might not be familiar with it, but young people are, and it's basically help wanted ads without having to buy like an actual local paper. So you can see who's hiring all over the country, and you can list your resume. Home. And I work from home, and I was looking for a work from home job that had something to do with quilting. I entered that into my search. There was about 5 jobs nationwide that fell into those categories. I applied for the first one that I felt I was qualified for. I heard back from them. They asked me a couple of marketing questions and something I really had no idea what I was talking about. I gave them a weird answer probably, and anyway, I didn't get the job. And then the other one was the job that I have, which actually the job that I applied for was a beginning position, and I applied for it and was told I was overqualified. I thought that was a very polite no.
Yeah.
And then they said they would be in contact if anything, they might have something else. They called me back 2 weeks later and had a new position they were creating, and it was perfect for me. And anyway, it all came together. I love my job.
Yeah, you just never know. And so many jobs are work from home. I go out, and I've always been a people person, but Bill is absolutely right. And like I said, he graduated high school at 18 and had no ambition to do anything else. And literally every single thing he loved as a child, that's what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, because all my
He's
Barbies
blessed.
are bald.
Right.
All my baby dolls' hair is cut off.
Yeah. Which, that doesn't work for everybody to
It
just
doesn't.
fall into
Yeah.
the job that you absolutely love. But I hope that there's something about each job that you can find.
Find your
you
gift.
love.
Find your gift, what you're good at doing, and everything will fall in place.
Or
yeah,
work your way up from where you start with a company to some other position that you like better.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, because when I started out, it was like, I don't even know. I don't even talk about. I don't even think. I just think all I cared about was just making enough money to buy groceries. Jim didn't start out as an engineer. He started out as a draftsman, and when he got hired on at NAL, then NAL finished him up. He went to school in Carbondale. We were married when Jim got his
engineering
degree. Yeah, so many opportunities. Find what you love.
Yep.
Just don't be lazy.
Right.
We don't do lazy.
Nope. And just because you start a job doesn't mean you have to stay there forever.
That's true.
I think
Malia's
Malia's getting ready to change jobs too. But like, I think that a lot of people from other generations think, well, that's my job. That's just my job. I'm not going to move to another job. And it's like, no, you always have the opportunity to move. Keep moving, keep applying, keep checking other opportunities out, make more money.
Oh, yeah, I'm moving right up. I mean, shoot.
Absolutely.
We got 2 young kids here that help us. Abby and Ty help us in here all the time, and they're starting here. Wabash is a very successful company. There's no telling what you guys could work your way up to here at Wabash, and I'm sure Ty's doing what he loves to do. And he loves for us to say, Ty, Google that. Is that what you live for, Ty?
He said yes. He does. He lives for that moment.
He lives for that, because I have no clue what I'm talking about ahead of time. Okay, we're a little bit ahead of we're ahead of time a little bit, so I'm gonna read a few of these. Here's your sign, because I think they're so funny. Okay. I was in the park flying a kite with my son. A guy walked up to us and said, "Hey, are you all flying a kite?" I said, "No, we're fishing for birds."
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh gosh.
Okay, parenting. I'm just gonna.
That's a long one.
It is a long one.
Is that like an intro to the paragraph or to the chapter, or is that like an actual joke?
I don't know. When you are a parent, you need to be able to expertly handle situations you could never plan for.
Sure.
One night, for example, my 2 kids were taking a bath when I heard this blood-curdling scream. It looked like someone had shot my daughter out of the tub from a cannon.
Oh my gosh.
Before I could even ask her what the problem was, I saw the problem floating in the bathwater.
Oh gosh.
And while my daughter was screaming and running around like someone had just thrown sulfuric acid on her, my son, proud of his accomplishment,
oh my gosh,
wanted to stay in the tub and play with the thing floating. Look, Daddy, big boat, he giggled as it floated around.
Oh my gosh.
When I tried to get him out of the tub, he got all upset because he didn't understand why he couldn't stay in there and play with the boat. Finally, after much calm and rational discussion, I got him out of the tub. It was then I faced one of those interesting parenting dilemmas that no one ever tells you about. I had to figure out whether to drain the tub first or capture the treasure that was floating around the bathwater. If this has never happened to you, the answer is to drain the tub first. I know, I've tried both ways. I think we've all been there before.
Yep, we've all been there before.
Okay, here we go. I thought I could walk around 3 blocks to my friend's house without any problems. But halfway there, the heavens opened up. So I was soaking wet when I walked in his front door. He looked at me and asked, "Is it raining?" "No," I answered. "I thought I would take the fish for a walk."
That's a good one.
Oh. I was in the Atlanta airport and walked by the room reserved for smokers, which was literally filled with a cloud of smoke. A guy asked me, "Hey, is that the smoking room?" I said, "Nope, it's the fog simulation room."
That's a pretty quick one. I like that one.
That is pretty quick. I took my son to get a haircut at the barber. I took my son to get a haircut, and the barber asked, "Are you here for a haircut?" I said, "Nope. We just came here so that I could show my boy the blue water you keep your combs in."
That blue water always fascinated me as a child. What is that exactly?
Barbicide. I clean mine in bleach water because it makes your comb sticky.
Oh.
I hate barbicide.
Okay.
Yeah, it just makes it all sticky. I'm going to do one more. I purchased a car, drove it home, and parked it in the front of the house for the whole world to see. My neighbor asked, "Hey, did you get a new car?" "Nope," I said. "I bought 4 new tires and the car came with it."
He's
pretty quick.
He is quick.
He's pretty quick.
He's pretty quick for sure. So,
those are funny.
Here's your sign.
Here's your sign.
Oh,
Bill
gosh.
Engvall. Yeah, he's quickly becoming my favorite
he's a good
blue-collar
one.
guy. He is funny. And he's not filthy.
Right.
None of them were really filthy, right?
No.
They were all pretty clean guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all pretty good guys. And there's probably I'm going to have to...
Because you can't be funny and be clean. I know there's a lot of comedians out there that feel like they have to say the F word and be vulgar and talk about nasty topics, but you really don't.
You really don't.
Life is funny enough on its own.
Yeah, so my next one, because I've got him, I've still got, here's your sign. You might be a redneck if. I've got that. I'm going to see if I can get, if the other 2 have got books out too. Of funny sayings. Just keep them and do those because they are kind of fun to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beth, tell people where they can find us.
So you can watch our show Monday through Friday on Wabash Catch TV, channel 100 at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. And then also all of our episodes are on our YouTube channel, by the way, with Beth and Stacey. You just go to YouTube, type in Beth and Stacey. You'll see our picture come up. It's round. And click on that and ta-da, you're on our YouTube page where you can watch all of our videos. And you can also like and follow us on Facebook. So,
how many episodes have we done?
We have done over 200.
We're over 200.
We're probably pushing 250.
This one's 216.
216.
250.
I don't know. It goes so fast.
216. We didn't even celebrate our 200th episode.
No, we're going to do it sometime soon. We'll do let's do an odd number, like 217 or something.
217 or 219 and have your mom bake us cake.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing very well on my diet.
Yeah, I'm not either. Anyway, we have to go because we're going to eat Mexican next.
That's where we're headed.
So anyway, thanks for joining us, and we will catch you next time.
God bless you and have a great day.